purpose of this lecture is to better understand developmental research and how it is conducted. Today we use many approaches to understanding human behavior. Each has its strength and weakness. None is completely reliable. Most developmental psychologists use one of the three data collection methods. The first one we will look at is descriptive studies. Descriptive studies are quite common. Most are numerical descriptives. For example, how many 12-year-olds versus 17-year-olds think the government is doing a good job? Or how much money does the average 40-year-old woman have to spend per week? Some studies, called self-report studies, ask people their opinions about themselves or other people. These studies may use interviews or questionnaires. Other studies, called observational studies, describe people simply by counting the number and the types of their behaviors. A third type of study, the case study, presents data on an individual or individuals in great detail in order to make generalizations about a particular age group. Descriptive studies have the advantage of generating a great deal of data. Because the sequence of events is not under the observer's control, however, cause and effect cannot be determined. This is just because two variables are associated does not mean that one causes the other. Typically, the association between variables is established through a statistical technique known as correlation. This technique provides a numerical evaluation of how great the degree of association is between two variables. For instance, height and weight are associated with each other, but not perfectly. The taller people are, the more they weigh. But this is not always true. The correlation between height and weight for a typical sample of people is moderately high. Although there is a definite association, we would not say that height causes weight, or vice versa. They are simply correlated. We examine the correlation between variables to see how high they are. If high, we may want to set up experiments to further examine the relationship between them. In the quest for the cause of behavior, psychologists have designed many manipulative experiments. Manipulative experiments are performed whereby all variables except for one are controlled. The one variable they manipulate is called the treatment. This helps to determine cause and effect. The next is naturalistic experiments. The researcher acts solely as an observer and does as little as possible to disturb the environment. Nature performs the experiment, and the researcher acts as a recorder of the results. The downfall of this type of experiment is that it is impossible to meet the strict guidelines of a true scientific experiment. Next, we will look at time variable designs. The first one is a one-time, one-group study. It's carried out only once on one group of subjects, and it's not valid for studying causes and effects. The second one is a longevity study, where researchers make several observations of the same individuals at two or more times in their lives. The advantages of this are it permits discovery of lasting habits. It's possible to trace those adult behaviors that have changed since early childhood. The disadvantages are they are expensive, they're hard to maintain, due to the availability of researchers and subjects. Changes in the environment can also distort the results. Cross-sectional studies compare groups of individuals at various ages at the same time to investigate the effects of aging. Each age cohort, though, has different experiences during their development. Sequential studies are studies that are done at several times with the same group of individuals.